Good morning. So, I told a story about shaving my beard and startling myself in the middle of the night, which was really funny for me, but the other aspect of that is the fact that people who've known me for years didn't recognize me, and people who have even seen me over the last few months didn't recognize me. And it was such a drastic change that I've kind of had to get to know my own face again, which is kind of cool, but also somewhat surreal of an experience. One of the really cool things has been the reactions and responses that I've had from people around me. It's been really cool, actually, and I've really appreciated all of the positive expressions of love and kindness and support, and it helps. It does. It is a nice thing, and thank you. I appreciate that. I spent a long time working towards a goal with no progress, it felt like, and it's pretty cool to be able to actually now see it, not in real time, but like week over week. When I was so heavy and I had so much to lose, there was so much to lose that there really wasn't, I could lose 20 pounds and there really wasn't a big difference, right? But now, there's a lot less, so as I'm still progressing, the changes are more proportionate, I guess, is the way to... Anyways, doesn't matter. It's cool to see progress. That's what I'm trying to say. It's really cool to see progress. And, it makes it easier to keep going on those days and in those times when it's difficult, because frequently it is. It's not easy losing weight. In fact, it's exactly the opposite. But that's kind of the point, right? Is life will make things difficult, no matter what you do. But if you have practice at overcoming something difficult, then you can be better prepared and able to deal with it when life gives you those curveballs, right? That's the mindset I'm trying to adopt and employ, right? Is turn negative into positive, turn it into motivation, try and share that with other people, try and improve things, try and, I know there's a lot of negative stuff, there's a lot of bad stuff, there's a lot of people who are, easy and quick and happy to share when there's something negative going on, when there's, the juicier the better for gossip, right? Eva, here. She's playing with a sprinkler. Here. You gotta see this, it's pretty funny. Where'd you go? Eva, kid. What's this? Sit. Good girl. High five. Love my dog. As if she splashed me in the face. Totally worth it. So, oh man. There's a lot of people who will try and spread negative. They'll share the juicy gossip and the salacious news, I don't know, whatever you want to call it. I mean, and I get it, it's human nature, right? Everyone wants to be in the know, everyone wants to be the first to share it and tell the story and get the reaction, and I get it. I do the same stuff, right? Like, I enjoy being able to tell somebody something cool that they haven't heard before, or share a piece of news that's exciting, but I mean, problem is that when it's about sharing the negatives, and only the negatives, and that was really getting to me, because people were, I mean, not deliberately, like, it's not like it was intentional, but people share, you know, bad stuff, but no one has an answer. No one has anything constructive. No one, I mean, I'm sure there are people out there that do, but no one ever seemed to. You know, it always instead just seemed to be a situation of if there was something crazy going on, share it. And if it was something negative, share it. If it was something scary, share it. I usually had the question of, okay, so what do I do about it then? Right? Because emotionally eating doesn't help. Eva, here. And heel. And since eating your emotions, or emotional eating, or whatever you want to call it, since that doesn't help, and all it does is just make the situation worse, and it doesn't actually solve the problem or the thing that was making you emotional or frustrated or whatever it was to begin with. I didn't want to be one of those people. Not anymore. I wanted to be better than I was, right? And before I played into that, I was not calm-headed when it came to that stuff. I'd get caught up in the, oh, did you hear? Did you know? Did you see that? But that doesn't really help. Not unless it's followed with a, here's what I learned from that, or here's what I took from that, or here's how to avoid that. Something that makes it, you know, a lesson or redeem. Anyways, I decided that as part of what I'm doing, as part of telling my story, that I was going to try and spread that positivity and try and share some of, okay, when you get bad news, when life throws you a curveball, when something bad happens, here's what I do about it. Maybe that can help you do something about what you're dealing with, and maybe the same thing that I'm dealing with is what you're dealing with, right? Maybe it's some national thing or some global thing, or, you know, right, like rolling power outages, or, you know, ice storms, or, you know, whatever it is that's going on. And you know, I only mention that because a neighbor told me about, I guess Texas is having some really cold winter ice. Anyways, not up to date on that, but I can tell you that the world is a crazy, amazing, beautiful, temporary place, and I wanted to bring it a little bit more positivity. I wanted to share what works for me, and how I'm trying to improve, and how I'm trying to face all that negativity and bad and turn it into something good, because I didn't find that for myself. I looked, by the way. I was trying to find something to give me an answer, and I wasn't looking for religion. I wasn't looking for, you know, a miracle or sign or any of that stuff. I was just looking for somebody who had some words of wisdom and inspiration that weren't fueled by greed, and weren't fueled by motivation and some sort of other thing, let's say, right? So usually people have a motive. And I didn't want an answer that was something related to, you know, a cult, or something related to anything that was, you know, some, hey, improve your life, invest everything you have in this, and you'll save your soul. I'm not interested in that. You know, I was interested in finding practical solutions to practical problems that I was dealing with, that I could apply in my daily life, not something spiritual and ephemeral and eventual, which I don't have any problem with, and I don't think there's anything wrong with, and you know, I believe in God, I have faith, I you know, but But I believe that's a personal choice and a personal thing about belief, and is somewhat separate. So I was looking for the ability of being able to do on my own the best I could. Because if you believe in God, and you believe that God made you, if you believe in a higher power, a creator, a being, intelligent design, whatever you want to call it, right? Like, if you have a faith and a belief in a higher power, a higher being, right? Well, if I was made by God, then God also gave me the ability to try and get myself out of any trouble I put myself in. I didn't pray and expect God to make me thin. I put on a backpack and I started walking because God gave me legs. God gave me a head to think about what I'm eating, and what I'm doing, and the decisions I'm making, and reflect upon those. And God's not going to save me, some higher power is not going to save me from the results of my own actions or inactions. I'm free to choose what I want to do. I'm not free to choose the consequences, as my mom loved saying growing up. Which is funny, you always get a saying or a phrase or something from your parents, and you don't really think about it as a kid, and then you think about it when you're older, and you're like, oh man, they were right. There was a quote that I read, and shout out to my niece for this one. You know who you are. But the quote was something along the lines of, so, turns out that my parents were right after all, but I just didn't like their attitude and how they were saying it. I love it. Anyhow, so I'm really grateful for all of the positive feedback, and I'm really grateful for all of the supportive people and the loving people, and just know that while the world is crazy sometimes, and while there's a lot of people out there spreading fear and anger and anxiety, there are people who want to improve the world too. I've met quite a few of them, and they're just everyday people who are awesome, right? And I'm trying to improve upon myself, so maybe one day I can be like those people who I looked up to in those times when I was needing help, and they came out of the woodwork like you wouldn't believe. Because people will surprise you, right? And not only will people surprise you, but you also have the ability to surprise yourself. So, I believe it. I know I have. I've surprised myself. I have to believe the same is true for you too. Thanks so much for hanging out with me. I'm going to head back inside. I have an update later on today. I'll be going to my surgeon's appointment, like I said. And, yeah, exciting times. Talk to you then. Thanks, everyone.